Hello, my sweet friend. It's Christina, and welcome to a new episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to the Art Cake Coach podcast. My name is Cristina Revalo. I'm a sugar paste modeling artist, a teacher, a coach for cake artists, Cake Friends Day creative community manager, award winning cake decorator, and representative of international cake competitions. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are a cake artist, a cake enthusiast, or a baker who is seeking some help, in anything related to your time management, social media management, setting your goals for yourself or your business, your mindset towards your business, or even a few hints of how to be part of the international cake community, cake collaboration, and cake competitions, you are in the right place. So, welcome to today's episode. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Christina here. So happy to have you here. Another Tuesday morning when I'm here with you. And as you know, this month everything is about social media. So we are here continuing with what we left the last episode. So last episode we talk about the importance of having a strategy, a calendar, and to be consistent on social media and some ideas to engage, not to engage, to create content that will be relevant for your customers or for your following or for your clients or for your target audience, whatever you want to name it. Today, what we're going to do the second part of that episode where we are not just going to talk about creating the content, but the engagement. How do I keep the engagement? Because most of the questions people had in the group about social media, one of the top things that they complain about was to have more engagement and more followers. So last week we tackled the followers part. Today we tackle the engagement part. So stay tuned, stay here because today's episode is also going to be filled with takeaways and with things that you can actually apply for your social media accounts. And I cannot wait to share it with you. So let's start. So, as we mentioned before, engagement is a crucial aspect of growing your social media following, and we all know that. Now, we need some tips in order to increase that engagement on a social media platform because we can have all the strategies that we want and we can focus on creating the best content, but we really want people to respond. We want people to engage. We want this call to action to be fulfilled. We want to have an answer from the other side of that phone or that computer or whatever you are. So here are some ideas on how you can keep that engagement going. Number one, respond to comments and messages. This is key, guys. If you do not answer back, or if you don't have anybody who answers back for you, I mean, I like to do it myself. I like to do it myself. It's not that I have that many thousands of comments, but it's funny. The other day I was looking, and actually, the last episode we talked about him. I was watching a live on Instagram from Lumas Cake, and he was saying, I answer all the comments. And if you don't get a reply, it's because I didn't see it or I didn't get the chance to answer back. Because I like to answer my own comments. Because if you took the time to write a comment, I'm taking the time to answer back. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's the way it should be. Actively monitor your social media accounts. It's very important to respond to your comments as promptly as possible. Either if they're comments, messages, mentions, just leave a heart, leave an emoji, but make that other person in the other side to feel that they got an answer. Engaging in conversation with your audience, answering their questions, and thank them for the support is key for engagement. People feel heard. People feel that, you know, there's somebody in the other side who's really listening and they want to stick around with you. They want to hang out with you if you are responding to their comments. Another great way to keep the engagement is to use the features of the different platforms in order to keep that interaction going. There's a lot of features in all the platforms that can build interaction, like asking questions or polls, asking opinions, some gift ask people. to leave a comment or to choose between two things, like a poll or question. All of these features are excellent for engagement because people will feel the urge to answer back. They feel that you're asking. And if you're asking, they want to answer. It's great. I have used it, and usually it's where I get most of engagement from my audience when I use this kind of features. So here are a few examples. Ask questions, pose provoking or questions that call the attention of your followers, and ask them to leave a comment after the question. Maybe in the stories you can post a question, and then after they answer, ask them to even leave a comment farther ahead, like in the comments below, or maybe in the post featuring that question. So people will feel like, okay, they're asking my opinion, let me do it. There is also a good way to encourage people is to use their own content. Inspire your followers to create and share their own content related to their brand and their niche, because that way you can collaborate with them, which is great. People love to collaborate because they feel it's a win-win situation. You can use hashtag, you can use branded hashtag, you can acknowledge or share their content, you can give credit to a creator, especially in our business, in our cake decorating business. There's a lot of inspiration going on, and usually the inspiration comes from other creators. I love, and you have no idea how much positive feedback I've had from giving credit to the creator of the inspiration. Usually, my inspirations come from illustrations. So, when I have an illustration and I inspire my work on it, I immediately look for the author, I tag the author, and I invite people to follow the author of the illustration. And usually the authors are very, very pleased and very happy because their content is out there and it's serving a purpose. They love that. And I have had a few beautiful collaborations with people after that. So it's a good way. And that is not something that I recommend to do. That is something that I'm asking you to do, is a should. Every time you use a model or an illustration or an inspiration that is not your own, say it. If you're a cake artist and you're being inspired by another artist, even if it's another cake artist or an illustrator or an image, find the source, acknowledge the source, and say is not your own creation inspiration. It is inspired by somebody else's work. I think this is to keep things real and to keep things very grounded, because there's a lot of complaints from other artists that people are just, taking their work and just using them as their own, or, reproducing them to the T and not even giving credit to the original artist. And I don't think that's fair. There are a few artists that have their work protected and registered, so you cannot do that. So be very careful with what you do out there. But most of the artists are not, because that costs extra money. And it's a matter of respect, because we are all artists and we all want our work to be respected. So very, very important. Acknowledge the original artist and just be true. If it's not your original creation, I always do it. This is not my original creation. The client brought me a picture from this artist, and I did the best that I could to do it on my own way, but this is the inspiration from. I always do that because I don't like when people actually. There was a funny story. I have time for a story. I can tell you the story. It was many years ago, Christmas time. I was in a shopping mall, and they had this bakery in the shopping mall, and they were promoting Christmas cakes. And they had a display of, like, a printed display with models of Christmas cakes. And I was with a friend, and my friend said, "Those are your cakes." I'm like, No, they're not." What? And when I look at the display, the pictures that they were featuring as ideas for the Christmas cakes were my cakes from my website. I was like, "Oh, look at that." So in one hand, I felt like they're using my cakes, but in the other hand, I was like, I'm actually flattered. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I mean, I must be doing something good as people take my cakes from the internet to feature them as examples of what they can do. So I called the manager and I told them, it's like, the images that you're using there are from my website. And he was like, "But the image were not they were not registered. They were free to use. So yeah, I know that. I don't have my images um, registered. They're out there. You can use them. But at least acknowledge that I'm the author. Can you do that? Can you at least do that? He apologized and said, I'm sorry, but this was already printed and, large scale. We have a lot of things because they have like several bakeries. So they printed a lot of them. We cannot change it now, but I'm very sorry. And I just said, just next time, ask for or try to find who the author is, because there's another thing. uh, Probably the person who's going to bake those cakes and make those cakes, uh, they're not going to end up looking like mine. So you're actually deceiving your customer because you're telling them that you're going to give them this, and that is not true. Probably the other person is not going to be able to reproduce that to the T. So, and he actually said, you're right. You're absolutely right. We have, because actually we don't have cake decorators, we have bakers, which is different. Trained bakers for large scale bakeries do not do the work that we do. They function working in, a big amount of cakes at the same time, and is like a chain of work. So it's different than what we do, and probably the final product was not going to be the same. So what he did was he asked me for a bunch of business cards that I gave to him, and he put it next to the display. And when people ask, he said, "This is an inspiration that our bakers are going to use. But if you want the real artist, here it is." I actually got a couple of clients from that. So thank you for the free for the free publicity at the time. That was many many years ago. I learned, and probably the other side learned too. So it's very important. Acknowledge. I did the whole story just to make sure that you acknowledge other people's inspirations. Okay, so I was saying that you can use interactive features. Many social media platforms offer interactive features such as polls and quizzes and sliders. I mean, a lot of things that people can really engage with. These are great, and you can have a lot of engagement from that. One thing people love, love, love is behind the scene content. People love it because they feel like they're part of your life. They're part of whatever you're doing. So share behind the scene content. People enjoy getting a glimpse behind the scenes and seeing the human side of your brand and your personality. You can share photos, videos, stories. You can give your audience a sense of like exclusivity and make them feel connected to your brand. Other thing people love is run contests and giveaways. Okay, I have something to say about that because the other day I had a bit of a long conversation. I'm not going to say discussion. It was a long conversation with a friend of mine online, because that was one of the suggestions for my Facebook group, the Arcade Coach. We're running like a social media ideas content, and that was one of the ideas. And he said, you cannot say that to everyone because when you have a small business, you don't have the ability to do a giveaway or run contests because you don't sell enough, you don't have the support. And I said, well, those are just ideas. I'm not saying that everybody should do it, but I guess, okay, let's mention it here. Maybe this is an idea that will be recommended for somebody who has already established brand and who already has like a running business, at least profitable business, because that way you're not giving away whatever you're doing for free for not getting anything in return. However, contests and giveaways are a great way to attract and to engage customers and audience, because you can, by a giveaway, for example, you can use a giveaway by encouraging people to tag one or three friends to share your content, to share it on their stories. As many people as you shared with, you have more opportunities to participate in the contest or the giveaway. So that's a great way to grow your audience. But just make sure that you can deliver that giveaway and that contest. Okay, another one, collaborate with your audience. Like I said before, when you collaborate with other people, even from your own target audience, they feel heard and they feel important. They feel that this is a win win situation. Acknowledge and highlight your followers, your contributors. Let them know that you're an integral part, or they are an integral part of their community. That without them, I mean, you don't have a community, and that will create a loyal engagement. People will feel recognized and loyal. Share values and relatable content. Understanding your audience interest and preference is key. So provide them with valuable information, entertaining content, and relatable experience that resonate with them. If you have an audience that is focused on cakes and is focused on growing their cake business, and like my audience in the arcade coach are focusing on growing their cake business, on their time management, on their goal setting, and on their social media, that's the relevant content that I should give. Um, uh, if I'm giving a very good content, but it's not related to what my audience is looking for, it's going to drop. Probably it's not going to have as much engagement as other content. So, very important to select the content that really is valuable and provides a good experience for them. You can host live sessions and Q&As. If you're like me who loves to be live and loves to talk to the people, you can do that. If you're a shy person, because I have this a lot of question, a lot of people ask me this question. I'm shy. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to show my face. I'm not as sparkly and bubbly like you are. So what do I do? I don't do live sessions. I'm terrified. Q&As is like, my worst nightmare. Well, you can do this in a post. You can ask questions in a post, and you have all the time in the world to answer back. And instead of live sessions, you can record a video. Recording a video will give you the time to do it over and over again, to edit it. And you can even record a video of your hands doing, the whatever work you're doing, your cake, your modeling. So you don't have to show your face. You can use point of view videos, so you don't have to show you while you're working, so you don't feel as uncomfortable looking at yourself at the camera. I know this is uncomfortable for a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't like to hear themselves and don't like to see themselves in camera. We can work on that. I mean, we can do some sessions in order to work on that. You know that I'm a cake coach and I can help you with that. But if you're not there yet, you can choose to do it recorded or just ask questions online, like in a post or in a story, and just have all the time in the world to answer back. Very important, very important. And this is the part that nobody likes, that nobody pays attention to, and that you overestimate, is analyze and optimize. But before we get into analyze and optimize, we're going to take a little break to hear from our sponsors. And when we're back, we're going to talk about statistics. And today's episode is brought to you by the Licious magazine with their amazing wedding issue this month. It's one of our favorite issues of the year, and it's certainly a beauty. You have many interview features from Salon Colonier and Emma Stewart Cake Designs. We have tutorials from many, many great artists in the industry, collaborations like Live the World Together, a beautiful collaboration showing love for our planet Earth and humanity. You have the regulars like Squire's Kitchen, Bikeaholic, and Rima Siraj Studios. We also have a lot of discounts that you can get from the magazine. You can get 10% off of Arati Mirage's pre-recorded classes with the exclusive discount. You can win with Sugar and Crumbs. You can get 10% off in everything LCO trading and 10% off programs and shops with Emma Stewart Cake Design. You can download it or you can subscribe, and by subscribing, you get 20% off. Thank you so much, the Licious magazine, and this beautiful, beautiful wedding issue of June. And thank you, Kelly, for being one of the sponsors of the Art K Coach podcast. Okay, my friends, we're back and we're going to talk about that part of the social media that nobody does, or at least if you're not a social media manager or you really have an idea of what you're doing, You're probably just a cake artist who's just trying to post their things online and hopefully praying that they will go viral or that they will have a big engagement. Well, let me tell you something. You need to check on your analytics and you need to optimize. Yes, I know it sounds like, what are you talking about? I don't have time for analytics. What is optimizing? What is it? I mean, what are you talking about? Okay, we can start baby steps. We can start by at least acknowledge what is going on with your social media accounts. All of your social media accounts, if you are either on Facebook or on Instagram or I don't know, or YouTube or Pinterest or Twitter, or I mean any social media account, whatever it is that you chose to showcase your product, have insights, okay? Statistics. They give you data based on how many people visit your profile or your page, their demographics, the times, the days of the week that they visit the most, the times of that day that they visited the most, what content has more engagement and what content has less engagement. Why is good? I'm not going to say that you have to go there every day and yet you have to check everything every day. I do it eventually. I'm not going to say, I don't know, maybe every 15 days, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, depending on the a lot of work that I have. But I do check them. Why? Because by really analyzing that, you will have first an really true insight to who your target audience is, because in there you can find if they're more male than female, if what are their ages, what time they usually hang out around your page and your content. So you will have an idea of who you're talking to and what time to talk to them first. And the days, especially the days that you will have like a week, and the week will tell you what day you have the most engagement. So what are you going to do when you have your analytics, when you check on your analytics and you see that most of your audience, I'm going to give you an example. In my case, most of the audience is female. They're usually around my I don't have all the analytics here right now, but let's see. I'm trying to remember the last time I checked Cake Friends Stay Creative. Most of the audience is female. Most of them enter on between Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are the days that they usually enter the most, the group. Monday has a peak in the mornings because that's when I post the most. So people go and check it, but then they leave. So the longer they stay is between Wednesdays and Thursdays. Friday night for me, like after Friday afternoon, after 6, usually it's a good time for engagement. So what do I do? I'd usually talk to my audience in a very moderately way, very friendly way, because most of them are women who are bakers like me. I know, I mean, you want to hear a friendly voice. You don't want to hear somebody who feels above you or who's just scared to talk to you. You want to hear a friendly voice. So I usually talk very friendly. I address everybody as my sweet friends because that will apply even for the masculine audience that we have. Usually the lives go out on Wednesdays, on Fridays, because that's when I have the most engagement. Most of the posts, I will put them on Thursdays because that's when people usually look around the most. So that way I know that when I create content, it's going to be seen and it's going to have some engagement. Let's say I have more time on Thursdays. That's why this podcast is recorded on Thursday, because that's the day that I have more time to create the content. But if I go and put the content on a Thursday, on a Tuesday, sorry, is not going to have the same engagement if I put it the next day on Wednesday or Friday night. So by knowing these statistics, I know exactly when to post and who I'm talking to. And the next part is if I go and check through all these years of Cake Friends Stay Creative, what is the content that people respond the most to, usually are the challenges. I know that I have to keep going with the challenges. There is always going to be a challenge every morning, every Monday morning. For sure. I'm not going to miss that one because that's what keeps the group alive. Other usual the other usual content that is very engaging into groups are lives. Even though we're taking a break from live events, what we do is we concentrate one big live event of a couple of days in the during the whole year. So we know that that is going to be a peak where we're going to get a lot of new members. So that's how it works. But it works because I went there, I check on my analytics, and I know what to do, when to do it, and what to say. It's very important. Otherwise, it's like you're driving blindfolded. It's like you don't know where you're going. You're just throwing things in the air to see that something sticks to the wall. And that is not the idea with the social media. You have to have a strategy. And part of that strategy is to analyze your statistics and your insights. It actually feels like more work, but once you start doing it, you will feel like you're taking control of everything that you're posting, and you will see that you will get more engagement. Um, so let's think about this. Regularly review your social media analytics to get insight on which types of contents review the most engagement. Experiment with different formats, topics, or postings as many times as you can to see what really resonates to your audience. Use these insights to redefine your content strategy and create engagement. So that's what I mean by optimizing. Optimizing is taking the best of what you're doing right now and what really work and focus on that. Now, remember, my friends, the key of engagement is building a genuine connection with your audience. It's really, and I mentioned this in the previous episode, be you. You cannot be a persona that is not you. Just be you, be your authentic self. Even if you think that your authentic self, it's a rude and you know person who answers back at everything that is given to them. I mean, it works sometimes. People just engage with you because they know that's you. I have many friends on Facebook and many friends on social media with different behaviors, and they all, when they're themselves, they all get engagement. They all get answers. I mean, could be good or bad, but they do get the answers. So just be you. Of course, I always recommend people to be nice, but be you. It's very important that you're not personifying this avatar of a person who's not you, because you are not going to be able to keep that up. Actually, in the beginning of this year, when I opened the account on Instagram of the RK Coach, that if you're not part of, please, it's in the links of the episode, the description of the episode. You can go and be part of that community. And when I open it, I said, well, with the other account, with the art cake experience account, which is where all the cakes and all the creative work is, I never had really a strategy. I just kept posting as I had did a cake, I just posted, and that's it. Then I started creating stories. It was like more a learning platform for me. And since this one was starting from scratch, I said, well, I'm going to do this one by the book. So I'm going to do everything that the marketing the courses said I should do, and all these Instagram gurus tell me what to do, and I have to have a certain aesthetic, and I have to post in a certain way, and I have to, and it felt so robotic. It felt so not me that by the middle of, I think it was the middle of February or March, I actually did a reel. I think it was a reel or a story where I was talking. I said, you know what, this is it. I just can't keep this up. This is not me. So from now on, you're gonna have the real raw Christina. And that's when the engagement started to go up. It was a try. I was trying to see what was happening. I was really checking out if this could work. And maybe it worked for some other people, but it doesn't work for me. For me, I have to be me. And actually, that's going to be probably the content of one of our next episodes about being yourself out there. Being yourself on social media and just being yourself as a cake artist. But anyway, like I was saying, just make sure that it's you who's there, right? That it's authentic and that is your true self. Respond to your comments. Respond to the people who's engaging with you as soon as you can. Be authentic, of course. Show appreciation for their support and just be there for your community. don't forget the calls to action. It's very important that in everything you do, ask people to do something for you. I'm not saying like ask for a favor, but it's like comment, share, invite a friend. What do you think? Respond to this question. Always keep people engaged. That is the best way to get a lot of engagement from your audience. As your K coach, I am here to help you. If you want to go a little bit further in your journey to organize your time, set clear goals, maybe teach, work on your mindset, or set a roadmap for results, especially for results and success, I am here for you. Why don't you book a free discovery call with me? I will be leaving the links here in this episode so we can chat, we can talk about what you really need, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. Remember, I have just one mission in this cake world. First is to unite the cake community as one and to make you, my cake artist, my sweet friend, understand the importance of investing in you. Like I said, I will be leaving the links here in the description of this episode so you can book a 30 minutes free discovery call with me. And just remember, in case nobody said this to you today, I do appreciate you and I want you to stay safe and stay creative. So, my sweet friends, this is it for today. And if I can do any resume about these last two episodes is getting more followers and getting more engagement on your social media for your cake business is all about putting the love, putting the work, having a plan, creating a structure, and follow it once you create it. I know it sounds like a lot of work. I know it sounds like a lot of things to do, but remember, I am here to help. If you want any further help with the creation of a plan, with checking out your social media, maybe doing an audit on your social media accounts and seeing what's working, what's not working, remember that you can book a free call with me here on the links of the description of this episode. There is the link that you can go to, and it's free. It's a 30-minute free discovery call when we can sit down and discuss what are your needs and what we can do in order to help. So this is it for today, my friends. Next week I will come back with a new episode of the RK Coach podcast, still around the topic of social media, but maybe with a different approach that I hope you would like. More to the personal side. You know, I like to do every now and then some of this episode. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here today. And as always, my friends, stay safe and stay creative. My sweet, sweet friend, if you liked this episode, if you love this podcast, I will kindly ask you to leave me a started review, whatever you're listening to this episode that is available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think a couple of other ones. But in any of those, just leave me a review. Leave me a couple of stars or 5 stars if you like it. So people will find this episode, the algorithm would put it out there, and more of our K community will benefit from it. Share it with your friends. Download the episode and share them. Share them on your social media and tag me because I will answer you back. Of course I will. And send me comments, send me your review, send me your feedback. Even if you don't agree with anything that I say, I would love to hear your opinion. You can find me in any of my social media accounts. I will be leaving the links here on this episode description. I'm on Facebook as The Art Cake Experience. I am on Instagram at Christina_The Art Cake Experience. Or you can even find me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, The Art Cake Experience channel. So thank you so much for listening. And please leave me your review and leave me your comments and your feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say about any of this episode.